Hey guys, the return of Browns thoughts here on the Off the Mic Sports Network. The Cleveland Browns coming off of the bye. They're going to be taking on the New Orleans Saints this weekend. But a couple things I wanted to get into here in this edition of Browns thoughts. Number one, let's talk about the team as currently constructed right now. It's a mess. This team's not very good. They've won 2 games. It seems like we're going Tank City here. They're playing at the Superdome. The Saints aren't very good. Saints have an interim coach. They already fired their coach. It's now becoming what is the future going to look like? Is Kevin Stefanski going to be the guy? Because there's already been a lot of discussions as to whether or not he's the future coach of this team. I think it's a mistake if you move off of him. Because I think the Bears are going to fire their coach. They would jump at the opportunity to pair him with Caleb Williams. So I would not fire Kevin Stefanski. But there's been some internal issues that have popped up. Jed Wills, the number 1 pick of the Browns in 2020, has spoken out as to why he sat out the Baltimore game, and I guess he said he made a business decision to not play, and that was not looked at really well. Kevin Stefanski said he talked to him. Listen, I've given Jed Wills countless amounts of opportunities, and there's just tape all over the place, and this guy is a turnstile at left tackle. DeJuan Jones is just a better option. You've got to get rid of Jed Wills. It's not working. They made a mistake. It hasn't worked. I mean, Tristan Wirfs should have been the guy at number 10 in that draft in 2020, and they made a mistake. It's not working. Try to trade him, potentially cut him, do whatever you got to do, but him saying that was a business decision, I think, is the nail in the coffin for Jed Wills. And yeah, it was handled internally by Kevin Stefanski, but listen, you can't have that type of stuff in your locker room. Guys who just don't care. They've been injured all the time, and then they're sitting out games intentionally as a business decision. Whether he meant that or not, it's not a good look. So let's get that out of the way. Jameis Winston's going to start this game. I don't have a problem with that. At this point, you're just riding out the season. There was the brief week of hope against a bad Ravens secondary that we thought Jameis Winston might be the guy. He's not. He's not. It'll be fun this season. It'll be a roller coaster. But he's not the future at quarterback. They're going to be looking for a quarterback in the NFL draft, which leads me to the final part of this whole piecing together and kind of going from one lane to the next. And let's talk about the future, because I did say on this channel that I think Shedeur Sanders, no matter what you think of him, no matter what you think of his ego, I think he'd be fine as the Cleveland Browns quarterback. Based off the quarterback play that I've seen the last couple years with Deshaun Watson, I'll take anybody who can throw the ball. I'll take anybody. But Deion Sanders, basically, Coach Prime was on... he was on Speak on FS1, and basically what he said was that he would step in if Shedeur went to the wrong team. He was asked a question about where Shedeur might get drafted. And my interpretation of that is he's not going to a bad organization. And I've seen a lot of discussions about, he won't go to the Giants because the Giants are not in a great spot, or he won't go to the Panthers because the Panthers are in a bad spot, and I totally understand that. He won't go to the Raiders. I don't agree with that. And then there's this discussion about the Cowboys, even though they just paid Dak Prescott, and I'll have thoughts on that. And I'm hoping to, do a Mad Sports Show this week with Andrew Marks, because I'd love to get his perspective as a Cowboys fan about the prospect of Deion Sanders being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys with Shedeur Sanders as the quarterback. But let's go back to what this is really about. It's about the Cleveland Browns. There are some people trying to create this narrative that's saying, hey, the Browns are actually a good situation, and Deion Sanders would allow his son to go there. No, he won't. No, he won't. It's been a tough sell to have Deion Sanders in Boulder, Colorado. People were trying to debate if that was going to work. It's worked because Boulder's actually a really beautiful campus, and Colorado's a really prestigious university in college football. You think Deion Sanders is really going to let Shedeur Sanders go to Cleveland with Jimmy Haslam in ownership, given what has happened with this organization at quarterback for the last 25 years? You could maybe try to sell me on the fact that, hey, Shedeur could go to Cleveland and be the savior. Given the way Baker Mayfield was treated out the door, given the way Johnny Manziel was treated in this town, in this organization with Cleveland, there's no way in hell that Deion Sanders is going to allow his son to play for the Cleveland Browns. So let's just get that out of the way. Like, when Deion said that, I was like, maybe there's a shred of hope that maybe this could be presented a certain way. But then when I heard him say that on FS1 earlier this week, there's no way in hell. That was a veiled shot basically saying, hey, Cleveland Browns, if you're thinking about taking my son, you ain't taking him. We'll Eli Manning or we'll John Elway this situation. And we will force our way out of Cleveland and you will trade the pick. And listen, if that's what it comes to and the Browns are ahead of the Raiders or somebody else and they need to make a trade and they need to get some extra draft picks, I'm all for that. Because the Browns need more help than just the quarterback position. They need offensive line help. They potentially need a successor to Nick Chubb at running back. Like they need potentially defensive pieces as well. This is not just a quick fix at quarterback. So whether it's Cam Ward or somebody else, as long as it's not Carson Beck, because Carson Beck seems like a tailor-made Browns quarterback because he just throws the ball to the wrong team. So it's not going to be Shedeur Sanders. So I hate to break it to some of you fans who are trying to rationalize that Shedeur Sanders is somehow going to be okay, or his dad, Deion Sanders, is going to be okay with going to the Cleveland Browns. It's not happening. It's not happening. He's going to end up on the Raiders. He may end up on the Cowboys, although I don't know how in the hell that's going to work with Dak Prescott getting his money right before the season and now him being hurt. But I can tell you with 100% certainty that even if the Browns have the opportunity to take Shedeur Sanders with a top selection in the NFL draft, it ain't happening. He ain't going there. That it was specifically meant for the Carolina Panthers and the Cleveland Browns. Deion Sanders is not letting his son play for either one of those organizations. I can tell you with 100% certainty that that is what's going to happen. So those are my Browns thoughts for here. We'll have, I might try to look into this game, but listen, coming off the bye, it's a big indication for this team. They should beat the New Orleans Saints. Even if it's on the road, even if the Saints just won a game, even if the Saints have some talented pieces there, the Browns with a week off should win this game. If they don't, then that's an indictment on the coaching staff, and then we might need to have a separate discussion about whether or not Kevin Stefanski is the right guy for this team. I still think he is. There's a reason he's won Coach of the Year twice. I mean, and hell, he took this team to the playoffs with four, legitimate, technically five starting quarterbacks. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts on this week and some of the news that's been going on. I will talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.